the order or the way the programs are going to execute is known as flow of control. Only one way I can able to make a decision. That is known as simple if statement. If the given condition is true or false, I won't bother. But both the side, I want to write the if-else condition once again. Hello to all, a warm welcome to my new session on Unit 2, and the chapter name here is Control Structure. I'm Revati from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So dear student, in my today's session, I'm going to deal with introduction about control structure. Along with that, I'm going to deal with type of control statements. Along with that, I'm going to deal with selection statement. Under that, I'm going to deal with if statement, if else statement, as well as I'm going to deal with nested if statement. So dear student, please take a notebook as well as pen and make a point, because this is very important. And if you know this concept very easily and very thoroughly, then it's very easy to write C program, because this is the basic building block of C program. Now, at the beginning, I'm going to have an introduction regarding today's topic, that is control structure. So what is this control structure? That is nothing but control. So control between block of statement or blocks, and how these controls are going to happen, all those things we are going to study in my today's session. So control statements are the statement. So dear student, just remember what is control statement. That's nothing but the group of statement or just a statement that is going to alter or that is going to modify the sequence of flow of instruction. So here control statements are statements, and it's going to modify or alter the sequence of flow of instruction. So if I consider any statement or any control statement, I can able to have single statement or block of statement. So any single input statement, assignment and output statement is simple statement. Dear student, suppose if I have only one input statement, then it is termed as simple statement. Even if I have only one assignment statement, then it is termed as simple statement. Even if I have only one output statement, then it is termed as simple statement. And when I have group of statement and that is separated by semicolon and enclosed within a curly bracket or flower bracket, and that kind of statements are known as block or compound statement. For example, if I have more than two input statement or more than two assignment statement or more than two output statement, and all these are written within the curly brace, is known as block or compound statement. So in order in which statements are executed in a program is known as flow of control. So what is flow of control here? The order or the way the programs are going to execute is known as flow of control. So what is control statement? That is nothing but the statement and it's going to modify the sequence of flow of instruction. Now, there are two types of control statements: selection statements and iteration statement. So, dear student, from the examination point of view, these two are very, very important. At present, you just remember that the control statements are categorized into two types: selection statement as well as iteration statement. And in my today's session, I'm going to deal with only selection statement. And in my next session, I'm going to deal with iteration statement. So let's see what is selection statement. So what is selection statement? For example, think that I'm going to visit cloth shop in order to purchase cloth. And what is the job of the shopkeeper? Is to display the cloth. Now I'm going to select which cloth I want to buy. That means which cloth is going to suit for me, and that cloth I'm going to buy. So I'm going to make a decision. So this statement allows us to select a statement. So this selection statement allows the programmer to select a statement or set of statement for execution based on some condition or based on some criteria. So dear student, please make a note here. In selection statement, we are going to get a statement, either one or group of statement. Okay, now we are going to make a decision which statement I want to execute and which statement I don't want to execute. So there are different kinds of selection statement: if statement, if else statement, nested if statement, and switch statement. So dear student, I'm going to make a decision based on some criteria or some condition, and which statement I want to execute, that is known as selection statement. And which are the different type of selection statement I'm going to have here? If else, nested if statement, and switch statement. Now at the beginning, I'm going to have the simple if. So only one way I can able to make a decision, that is known as simple if statement. So if statement, this statement is called one-way branching. So I can able to take only one decision, and that kind of branching or that kind of decision is known as one-way branching. And this statement is used to decide whether a statement or set of statements should be executed or not. So this if statement is used to decide whether a set of statement or a single statement is going to execute or not. And this decision is based on the condition, that is either true or false value. So whatever the criteria I'm going to specify, here I'm going to have two outcomes, that is true or false. So this is the syntax for simple if statement. Now dear student, think that I want to join college. I have only one option. Okay, I want to join the college. Okay, in that time, I can able to consider if statement. So only one decision or one way branching. So here I'll write, if I want to join the college, then I'm going to have list of option or list of statement. Okay, I can able to select the college, or I can able to choose the course. Okay, all those things I'm going to write within the if condition. So where I'm going to write within the curly brace. So I'm going to have the group of statement. Okay, and this is example for if statement. So this is the flow chart I'm going to have here. I'm going to specify the condition. Okay, if this condition is true, what I want to execute? True statement. If the given condition is false, then I'm going to execute the rest of the statement. If statements are known as simple if statement or one-way branching. Now I'm going to have the example here. So I want to find the largest of two numbers. So here I'm going to read two values A and B. Okay, at the beginning, what I'm going to do, I'm going to declare A is larger. That's nothing but first value is larger. And I'm going to compare that with this second number. And if that is true, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to declare the next number is larger. For example, A equal to 10 and B equal to 20. Now what I'm going to do? I'm going to take one dummy variable called large and I'm going to assign A. Okay, now I'm going to assign A. Now what I'm going to do? I'm going to compare B with A. That is B greater than A. Then I'm going to assign large equal to B and I'm going to display B value. Now see here, the actual program is going to start from main function and which are the header files I'm going to include here, stdio.h and conio.h, and I'm going to use integer data type and variable name A, B and large. And printf statement is used to display the message to the user, whereas scanf statement is used to read the input. And what I will do, I'm going to assign A to large and I'm going to compare B with large. And if this condition is true, what I want to do, I want to display large. Okay, so if this is true, what I will do, I'm going to assign large equal to B. And if this condition is false, once again, I'm going to display large. So if this condition is true, I'm going to perform assignment. Otherwise, directly I'm going to display the large value. Now I'm going to have the next type of statement, that is if-else statement, and it is called two-way branching. Now this structure helps to decide whether a statement or set of statement want to execute or not. So here I'm going to have two possibility. So one is true and one is false. So here this is known as two-way branching. So I can able to get two output, true or false. For that reason it is known as two-way branching, and this is the syntax. If I'm going to specify the test condition or criteria, and if this statement is true, I'm going to execute statement 1. Else, if this condition is false, then I'm going to execute statement 2. Now, I'm going to have the flow chart for this one. Now, see here, I'm going to have the test criteria. Okay, now I'm going to check the condition. If this condition is true, what I'm going to do, I'm going to execute statement 2. If this condition is false, I'm going to execute statement 1. Anyway, dear student, I'm going to explain this one with the help of simple program. Now, see here, I'm going to check the age. Okay, if the age greater than 18, then I want to display it as adult. And if the age below 18, I want to display they are not adult. Now, see here, actual execution of the program is going to start from main program. And dear student, please make a note here. Don't write semicolon at the end of main program. So, what is my data type? It is age. So, for that, I am going to consider integer and I am going to read age. Now I'm going to check if age greater than 18, if this condition is true, then I want to display adult. If this condition is false, I'm going to execute else part. So I'm going to display not adult. This is the way I can able to use if else statements in my program. Now I'm going to have the next type of selection construct, that is nested if statement. And if I consider nested if statement, I have two possibility. So one is if else if. So within one if statement, I'm going to have another if statement, is known as nested if statement. So here the format 1 itself indicates that if, okay, and I'm going to have the else part. In my else part, I'm going to write the condition. Now this structure is known as else if ladder. So it is known as else if ladder. This structure will be used to verify a range of values. When I'm having range of values and I want to verify those range of values, in that time I'm going to use if else statement or if else if statement. Now, what is this range of value? I can able to consider the result. So, I can have distinction, first class, second class, just pass and fail. So, I'm having range of values and I want to select particular value. In that time, I'm going to make use of if, that is else if ladder. And I'm going to have the syntax here. If this condition is true, I'm going to have this statement 1. So I'm going to have my statement 1. If this condition is false, I'm going to have else part. In my else part, I'm going to write my second condition. Okay, so for this also, I'm going to have the true statement. Okay, and else, once again, I'll write the if statement. And if that condition is true, execute true statement. If that condition is false, in my else statement, I'm going to write the if statement once again. This is the way I can able to use if statement, that is if else if statement in my program. Now, this is the syntax for if else if statement. So, at the beginning, I'm going to have the test criteria, that is test condition, and if this condition is true, then I'm going to display the statement, and that is my true statement. If this condition is false, once again I'm going to have the test criteria and I'm going to check the true output, and if that condition is true, I'm going to get my output. Else, once again I'm going to test the condition and this scenario is going to continue. Now see here, this is the example for if else if statement. As I discussed, see, I'm going to use this type of condition only for range of values. See, I want to check the given whatever the received mark I have, that is first class, distinction, second class, or just pass or fail. So I'm going to have the main function and I'm going to have the marks and I'm going to read the marks. And here I'm going to check if mark is greater than or equal to 85 and mark is less than or equal to 100, then it is distinction. So, if I'm having greater than 85 and below 100, it is distinction. Else, once again, I'm going to check if the marks greater than or equal to 50, then it is second class. Else, once again, I'm going to check if mark greater than 35, then it is just pass. If the given marks is less than 35, then it is fail. For the last if statement, directly I am going to write if mark greater than 35, then print class. That is just pass. Else, if this is fail, that means if the condition is failed, so the condition is false, then I'm going to get the output fail. This is the way I can make use of if else if statement in my program. Now I'm going to have the second format, that is if else if statement, and this structure contains an if statement within another if statement. So in one if statement, I'm going to write another if statement is known as if else if format 2. So here, if this condition is true, so if this condition is true, inside this I'm going to write another if. And if this condition is false, in my else part, I'm going to write if else statement once again. So I'll tell you, please remember here, if the given condition is true and another chance false. If the given condition is false, so I'll have else part. Okay, in this I'll write if the condition, and if this condition is true, statement 1, else statement 2. Similarly, if I consider first part, if this condition is true, once again, if condition, if this is true, statement 1, else statement 2. Okay, this is the way I can make use of second form of if else if statement. Now I'm going to have the flow chart of this. Now if this condition true or false, both the sides I'm going to write the if else condition. If the given condition is true or false, I won't bother, but both the side I want to write the if else condition once again. And here I'm going to consider if this statement is true, okay, execute true statement. If this statement is false, execute next statement. Here also I'm going to have the two possibility. So true and false. So here I'm going to write the test criteria and I'm going to check if the given value or result is there, it is true or false. Okay, if this is true, once again I'll write the if condition. If this condition is false, within this block I'm going to write once again if else condition. So dear student, this is the way the second form of if else statement is going to work. I hope in my today's session you got more information about control structure, along with that selection construct. Anyway, dear student, I'm going to deal with switch statements, iteration statements. In that I'm going to deal with while statement, do while statement, and along with the comparison between while and do while statement in my next session. So dear student, don't miss to watch this session because this is very, very important, and these are the basic building block of C program. This is nothing but the basic steps needed to learn C program. Now, dear student, I hope in my today's session you got more information about control structure. Let's meet in the next session with more information about control structure. Until that, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.